The Truist Championship is here, and the field at Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina, is missing some of the biggest names in professional golf. This is a $20 million signature event, $3.6 million going to the winner, with massive FedEx Cup points and world ranking implications. It also serves as the final competitive tune-up before the PGA Championship at Aronimink, which means every start, every decision, and every withdrawal this week carries enormous weight. And when you actually sit down and count the names missing from the picture that emerges says a lot about where the PGA Tour stands. Let's start with the most important absence. World number one Scottie Scheffler is not playing this, and while that alone reshuffles the entire competitive landscape, it's the reason behind it that matters most. Scheffler has been ruthlessly disciplined with his schedule, and his track record backs up every decision he makes. He has finished second in his last 3 consecutive starts. The Masters, the RBC Heritage, and the Cadillac Championship, which means he is playing some of the best golf of his career and still losing. He's not skipping this week because he's struggling. He's skipping because he understands exactly what it takes to peak at the right moment. Scheffler himself explained it plainly. I typically don't love playing the week before a major. If y'all were to walk with me each day of the tournament and see what we have to do in order to play 1 week, having to do that 4 weeks in a row, I wouldn't be able to perform my best. So when I show up at a tournament, I want to be able to give it my best. He has actually never played this event in his career, but he has competed at Quail Hollow before, during the 2022 President's Cup and the 2025 PGA Championship, which he won by 5 shots. He arrives at Aronimink next week as the defending champion, and everything about his preparation this season points toward him being ready to do it again. World number 8 Russell Henley is also sitting this week. Henley finished tied 49th at Doral last week and clearly has parts of his game he needs to sharpen before a major. His history at Quail Hollow has been inconsistent throughout his career, with a tied 10th in 2024 being the only finish that really stands out. Right now, Henley is quietly in the middle of figuring out whether he can compete consistently at the highest level. And this week, he decided the answer to that question will come better through preparation than competition. Collin Morikawa was a late withdrawal from the Truist Championship, and this one is genuinely concerning. The 2-time major winner tweaked his back on his second hole at TPC Sawgrass during the Players' Championship and took 3 weeks off before returning with back-to-back impressive finishes. Tied 7th at the Masters and tied 4th at the RBC Heritage. That run made it look like he had turned a corner. But then last week at Doral, he finished tied 62nd and looked completely off rhythm. The late withdrawal from Quail Hollow now suggests his back still isn't where it needs. When healthy, Morikawa is one of the purest iron players in the world, and a course like Quail Hollow, which demands elite long iron play and firm greens, fits his game perfectly. If he's not right physically heading into a major, that changes the entire equation for his season. Shane Lowry is another significant name opting out this, and the reasoning here is straightforward. Lowry has already played 12 events this season. That's 3 more than Scheffler and 5 more than Rory McIlroy. At some point, the body and mind simply need recovery time before a major champion. The important thing to understand is that Lowry skipping this week does not mean he's out of the conversation. He has 4 top 12 finishes in his last 7 PGA Championship starts. That is serious, consistent major championship performance that casual fans tend to overlook. Now here is where the story gets uncomfortable for the PGA Tour. Because the third category of players missing this week aren't resting and they aren't injured. They're locked out, and some of them have no realistic path in. Brooks Koepka is the starkest example. A 3-time PGA Championship winner and former world number 1 is playing the Owen of Flight Myrtle Beach Classic this week, an opposite field event with a $4 million purse, instead of competing for $20 million at Quail Hollow. Koepka still hasn't made his signature event debut since returning to the PGA Tour through the returning member program after leaving LIV Golf. He was first alternate for both the RBC Heritage and the Cadillac Championship, but never got the call up for it. Under the terms of his return agreement, he is ineligible for sponsor exemptions into signature events, meaning he has to qualify the hard way, and so far that door hasn't opened. He has played 8 times on the PGA Tour this year, with his best finishes being a tied 9th at the Cognizant Classic and a tied 12th at the Masters. Koepka addressed his season directly. I feel like I've played better than my results. I knew the first couple of weeks were going to be an adjustment. First 2 weeks were a little bit more nervousness than any. Then it's just a matter of getting comfortable with the golf courses, seeing how firm things are, the yardages they're playing. It's a little different. The situation surrounding Wyndham Clark tells a similar story from a different angle. Clark won at Quail Hollow in 2023 and still was not given a sponsor exemption. He has fallen to world number 70 following a 56th place finish in the FedEx Cup standings last year, which cost him his signature event qualification. He hasn't played since the RBC Heritage, and there's growing speculation he may be dealing with an injury behind the scene. Marco Penge is ranked 39th in the world, has played in 3 signature events this season, and recorded his best ever major finish at Quail Hollow, a tied 28th at the 2025 PGA Championship. He is not in the field this week. Nikolai Hodggaard is ranked 37th in the world, has a second-place finish at the Valero Texas Open, a tied 3rd at the WM Phoenix Open, and a tied 22nd at Doral last week. He is the highest-ranked player at the Myrtle Beach Classic this week, instead of competing at Quail Hollow. Aaron Rai, ranked 42nd in the world, has only managed to get into 1 signature event the entire season. This is where the sponsor exemption conversation becomes genuinely difficult. According to reporting from Golf.com, Webb Simpson, ranked 441st in the world, received a sponsor exemption into this week's. Meanwhile, players ranked 37th, 39th, and 42nd in the world are competing in Myrtle Beach for a fraction of the money. The average finish for sponsor exemptions across the 19 most recent signature events has landed around 38th to 40th, directly in the middle of the field. The system designed to protect star power is simultaneously leaving legitimate stars on the outside, all of which brings us to the player who benefits most from everything described above. Rory McIlroy is making his first competitive start since winning his 2nd consecutive Masters title and joining Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Nick Faldo as the only players in history to defend the green jacket. He arrives at Quail Hollow rested, motivated, and entering the golf course that has treated him better than any other venue in professional golf. He has 4 victories at Quail Hollow, 2010, 2015, 2021, and 2024. He set the course record twice, a 62 in 2010 and a 61 in 2015. According to Scratch, McIlroy is winning nearly 30% of his starts at Quail Hollow and gaining 2.58 strokes per round at the venue, by far the best of anyone who has played at least 5 times in Charlotte. The long par 4s, the premium on driving distance, the demand for elite long iron play. The entire profile of this golf course fits McIlroy. McIlroy spoke about his mindset coming into this stretch of the season. I'm excited for the road ahead. I'm excited for this week. I'm excited for Aronimink next week. Shinnecock, Birkdale. I feel like if anything, I'm more motivated after what happened at Augusta this year than I've ever. That motivation is grounded in something. If McIlroy wins the PGA Championship next week at Aronimink, he reaches 7 major championships, moving him past Arnold Palmer, Phil Mickelson, and Nick Faldo, 3 legends he is currently tied with at 6. He has spoken openly about drawing inspiration from athletes who remained elite deep into their careers. Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Tom Brady. At 37 years old, this is not the young Rory relying on raw aggression. This is a smarter, more selective, more strategically dangerous version of the same play. The competition standing between him and a 5th Quail Hollow title. Cameron Young is the hottest player in golf right now. He has 4 top 3 finishes in his last 5 starts, including wins at the Players' Championship and the Cadillac Championship, where he won by 6 shots. Matt Fitzpatrick won the RBC Heritage in a playoff over Scheffler and teamed with his brother Alex to win the Zurich Classic of New Orleans. Fitzpatrick has finished 1st or 2nd in 4 of his last 5 starts. This is not an empty field. But with Scheffler resting and Morikawa compromised, Rory's 2 biggest obstacles are gone. These 2 storylines, the field that wasn't and Rory's historic opportunity, are connected at the root. The PGA Tour's scheduling crunch, the signature event access problem, and the decisions players are making about load management have collectively produced a more open field than a $20 million event should deliver. The system designed to concentrate star power is producing unintended consequences. Legitimate stars locked out, schedule strategies that sideline top players for marquee events, and a growing frustration among midfield players who can see the inequality clearly. "This is 16 years I've been coming here." McIlroy said this. "It's been a fun place. I've had success, and it's somewhere I always love coming back to." That connection to Quail Hollow is real and statistically documented. And right now, as the PGA Tour navigates one of the most complex chapters in its recent history, Rory McIlroy is positioned at the center of carrying momentum, carrying history, and carrying the expectations of sport that needs its biggest stars to show up and deliver on the grandest stages. The PGA Championship at Aronimink starts next week. Everything happening at Quail Hollow this week is the opening act.